Crystal, here we are about a third of the way into the season. It seems like it flies by once it gets going. But let's look back a little bit. We're 6-2 now in the conference,
Yep.
and right at the top of the standings. Talk about first the Lewis and Clark series and how we had to battle the elements as much as we had to battle the Pioneers in that 4-game sweep.
Yeah, rain has kind of been the thing that's been happening all over the state. And Lewis and Clark, we were able to get all the games in. We had to start early to do it, and we had to tarp and untarp a couple of times. But the girls did a really good job of kind of staying in it. It's hard to establish kind of a rhythm during situations like that, because you can be building some momentum and then all of a sudden you have to go in the dugout for 20 minutes as you're waiting for rain to pass through. So on that Sunday, we didn't kind of score as many runs as I would have liked for us to have scored. But sometimes that happens in that situation. It's hard to build that enthusiasm and momentum as you're getting halted. But they did a good job staying in at 4 games. It is not easy to take 4 games. And Lewis and Clark battled every single game. I mean, they held us to only 3 runs in the 4th game, which was less than the previous 3. So the other big thing was in the first game of that series was we were actually down for most of that game. And for our girls to say kind of wake up call, and we need to get with it and come back and score 10 runs in the last 3 or 4 innings of that game was huge. And I think that kind of set us up to know what we should do the remainder of that series. And so they stayed focused and took care of business.
And then a couple of weeks ago, a hard-fought series with George Fox, split 2 games each against the 2 teams that finished first and second in the conference last year.
Yep.
Walk us through that one a little bit.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be kind of war with them the whole weekend, and it proved that first game to be kind of a pitcher's duel. Maddie threw lights out, 4-hitter, and we had one mistake that ended up kind of haunting us in that game. But we also didn't put anything together. We had a couple of innings where we had multiple runners on, and we couldn't get those runners across. And so that one ended up slipping away from us. But to come back the second game and take that after kind of a heartbreaker of a loss in the first game. And then coming back on Sunday, we knew that after seeing pictures, again, this 4-game series, that it was going to be a higher scoring game. And so we stayed in it. Again, we lost by that 1 run. So all 3 of our losses so far this year have been by 1 run. And so we're trying to figure out how we can just change that 1 pitch. So each one of those games, difference of 1 pitch. So that's kind of what we're preaching. And then to come out the 4th game at George Fox and get a shutout out of Michaela and put up 5 runs was huge. So I feel like we did well. I told the girls after that series that I was actually more confident in what we should do this year and how successful we'll be than I was going into that series. So I felt like we did really well.
And we won't touch too much on the Willamette situation, but just in terms of knowing that it was rained out, we're going to make those up now after the Pacific Series we play down in Oregon.
Yeah.
So this week we're getting ready to go to Florida for the big Spring Games tournament. Just briefly touch on the fact that 7 of the 8 teams we're playing against all participated in the NCAA tournament last year, including 2 games against the defending national champions.
Right. So we, at the end of last year, we talked to the team and we a little bit felt like we should have gotten invited to the NCAA tournament last year. We felt like getting 31 wins in a tough conference, that we should have been invited. And so that stung a little bit, but we also realized that you need to take care of business yourself. You can't expect somebody to hand something to you. And so we wanted to make sure that we set a schedule this year that would prove how tough we really are. And so we wanted to get outside of our region a little bit and go play those teams over on the East Coast and the Midwest that often end up making it to the tournament. And so we decided on Florida. When I wrote into the tournament director, I said, I want the toughest teams that are coming to your tournament while we're there. And so that's what he gave us, and we're excited. And we know that this week essentially is kind of a trial run for what we would be able to accomplish in postseason. So the girls are excited. We're excited to be able to play in 70-degree, 80-degree temperatures. And so we're really looking forward to it.